That's really unfortunate. Yeah, they just fucking deleted everything. It's annoying.
I want to ask for an autograph so bad, but I can't do it dressed like this. The cast of Great Detective Herlock! Duh! I came all the way here just for the premiere! But I didn't expect to end up on their film set. My laundry just won't dry. The weather here is too wet.
Doesn't need this much air. And this would be good for whom specifically? Planes? I guess anyone who scouts will be back. And is in this kind of team. Defense. Just goes with defense. Which way though? Oh. Element of means remains that. %, free crit rate. She is currently 90% and up. Yeah, okay. But if I go for this one, I suddenly get way much than I asked for. It's not much worse. Good enough. It's amazing. That's good enough. I'd like something better. I don't want to reshape it, I don't want to farm it. That's not it. Sure. Bina. It's a bit more rare. Maybe that would be overkill, but like that. Apparently she doesn't need them. So something like that is an alternative. Maybe win this one because it has flat HP instead of something less useful. Aha. Shipping this is not really important. Not really the best option because it's not a four substat piece. I just realized. The only reason, well, not the only reason, but maybe the most important reason why Nahida was the character that they completed this thing with is because Nahida has this set that decreases dangerous opponents. Meanwhile, Columbina both have this set, and that's suboptimal. What are you holding it for? I wonder. Maybe you're holding it for Loma? It's pretty good. Well, I definitely don't need to hold. Don't hold those. 3. Great damage. Yeah. That's completely useless though. 31% crit rate. It's more Metal Master. That's not it. Broken Moon Serenade. Obsidian Context, Scroll, Son of Days Past, Gilded Dreams, Me, Lilith, Petra, maybe Petra. Unlikely though. Twitter is way too awkward. Okay, luck. I gotta send you. And a couple more other stuff. Yeah, this one, crit damage, this one. This one also doesn't seem like that much of a good idea. Maybe. Wait, no. Reaction damage is increased by 20%. Yeah, that's not it. Duck. This goblet also isn't good enough for me to spend resources on it. Yep. No crit rate. Fine. She doesn't need more. Finally.
you.
Oh, which should I choose?
Okay. Where to spend my reason? Aha. At least to level 9. Ah, do you also need it?
Making a good video game is very, very difficult. Making a good video game
Right now. Right here. Wheel of life. Take a break. How tiresome.
right flavor combinations with the right amount of relationship growth and, of course, the right amount of romantic interactions. I think this is why visual novels are so popular with romantic-focused games. They are sacrificing gameplay to focus on the romance. Can't we have a game with actual gameplay that
Right now. Right here. Right now. I think not. Come on, keep up. Take a break.
Look at one of the best games with romance to come out in the last decade, Baldur's Gate 3. So many people love the romance in it, but this is still an RPG with romance, not a romance game that is an RPG. So if you are playing Baldur's Gate 3 solely for the romance,
Right here. Emerge. Such defiance.
and Cardinal Instinct are looking to deliver on this, as was Mahou Arms, a game that has been in development since 2018, in early access since 2020, and now a full release on Steam. This action RPG tries to combine the style of Nier, but also deliver on a meaningful romantic story. So how does it do? We have decent but repetitive gameplay with a disjointed story where the romantic interactions are hidden in the world and behind side missions. Romantic interactions where the characters often act completely differently than in regular gameplay. So while I had fun playing the game overall, this only made me want to see an actual game that fully delivers on gameplay and romance even more. I need to stress that this is still a decent game that you can have fun playing if you enjoy action RPGs. The gameplay is good, the art is great, this is a solid experience, but the romance is just not there. Surprisingly, the music also had a weird problem as well. The soundtrack with 21 tracks that you can listen to on Spotify is great, but when playing the game, you will mainly only hear 3 or 4 songs, which gets repetitive fast. As part of the Patreon and early access process, there was a lot of content that was originally promised that we don't see in this version of the game. Base building, additional playable characters, and a socialization mechanic focused on romance and dating were all promised at one point and for one reason or another did not make it to release. I understand that as part of the development process, some features won't make it to release. But if you're going to make Nier with magical girls and romance, then maybe you want to avoid removing all the romantic development. Seriously, the love scenes make the romance and Attack of the Clones look good. maybe I'm asking for too much. I want to play a solid game that delivers on romance in some way. It doesn't even have to be the flavors I enjoy. So far, Subverse is probably the closest we've gotten from a Western release. But all that means is that we have a long, long way to go. Is this the final form of Maho Arms? Will we see a No Man's Sky amount of post-release content taking the game from decent game with subpar romance to something truly special? I doubt it, but I'd love to be wrong. Let me know what you think. Is there a game out there that truly delivers on both gameplay and romance? What game do you think comes the closest? And until next time, no shaming, just gaming.
Looks like that's indeed what I want to do. Film codzienny, tak? Jeden dziennie komentarz damage. This is the corresponding character's attack. Not her attack. Attack of corresponding character. And their damage. To 500, to 600. And a bit under 2.
1,
A lot
2,
under 2.
3.
Under 1. A bit under 2. Bit over 2. Bit over 2. But appropriately a bit over 2, I guess. Yay!
Zooming in on justice.
Okay. So a bit over 2k attack is good. Yeah, well.
A few years ago, I set myself the goal of getting a 200-mile-per-hour club hat at the Bonneville Salt Flats. The only way to get this hat is to go 200 miles per hour and break a record while doing it. I did this last year, twice, and therefore I was done with land speed racing and I could go home happy. No, I'm just kidding. The thing about going fast is that there's always faster, and fast is never fast enough. So I swapped out the 1-liter engine for a 1.5-liter with a big fat turbocharger in an effort to get the 300-mile-per-hour hat, the blue one. And that's pretty much when the trouble started. When we last left off, I was sitting in my garage looking at a pile of melted and shredded clutch, wondering if I would even make it to Speed Week this year. The clutch had turned to glitter in a dyno session and we still hadn't tuned up the engine yet, but we had a couple of weeks and I've done more with less time in the past, so we went for it. The clutch I was previously using was a boost compensated clutch. It has a pressure tap that comes from the intake, so your boost pressure pushes on a diaphragm that's connected to a bearing. So your extra air pressure from the turbo turns into extra force on the clutch. Even before I tried it, I didn't love this. It doesn't look particularly well thought out, and it seems like an odd load path into the case cover. In any case, we were getting slipping on the clutch, and this seemed like a good time to replace it. I looked around to see what everyone else was using on drag racing bikes and ended up buying an MTC 2-stage lockup clutch. The arms have washers and bolts that act as weights. When the transmission spins, the centripetal acceleration pushes the weights out, which in turn presses the clutch together with more force, preventing slip. I called up their tech support and they recommended about 12 grams of weight on each arm. And this worked great. Shout out to MTC. I also replaced the clutch plates since they were, melted. The other problem is the actual dyno. I like this dyno place, but I don't like these hub dynos. They're just not good for motorcycle engine cars. They don't have any inertia and they're tough to get moving in higher gears. So I shopped around and found a roller dyno. A roller dyno is easier to work with. It has inertia, but not too much. So I can get it rolling in first gear and then shift up to fourth gear where the load on the chain is way less. We had to continually swap out the chain on the old dyno, but we didn't do it at all on this one, and we only had to adjust the chain tension once. That's not to say we didn't have problems. The front water tank is used to cool off the engine. It's great at Bonneville because it starts at about 90 degrees or whatever it is outside, and after a run it's 130 or 140 or so. By the time we're back in line for the next run, it's cooled down again. But on the dyno, it just gets too hot too fast. So we have a hose going into it, filling it with cool faucet water while pushing out the hot water. But somehow the drain hose got pinched, so the whole tank pressurized and burst at the seams. This sprayed water everywhere. We also had one of the cylinders cutting out later in the day. I thought this might be because the spark plug gap was too big and the turbo was blowing out the spark. But we noticed our voltage was getting really low. As the day went on, the whole engine would cut out at the top end of the run. It got near the end of the day and we couldn't figure it out, so we had to call it and go home. Typically, you don't want to change more than one thing at a time, but we were about a week and a half from Speed Week, so I just started solving possible problems by spending money, which is never the best way to solve problems, but it does often work. I swapped out our secondary fuel pump for a more efficient one. I added extra ground wires, bought new surface gap spark plugs and new coils, upgraded the voltage rectifier, and bought a new battery just in case. Back at the dyno a week later, we had better luck, but not great luck. The cylinder number 1 exhaust gas temperature sensor vibrated itself out of its hole, which we noticed pretty quickly on the data. We put that back in and torqued it down really well. We couldn't get the turbo to spit out more than about 20 pounds of boost. We weren't sure if it was getting choked by the airbox, if we were at the surge limit or what, but we did get the engine tuned up to about 400 horsepower. 400 is probably not enough to break the record, but we were out of time, and some people would say that the best dyno is the Great White Dyno. When I got the car home, I noticed something interesting. The turbo was no longer connected to the header. The V-band clamp had come loose and it was just not connected. So exhaust gas was blowing out in all directions like some sort of terrible radial wastegate. I have no idea when this happened or how many runs we had done like this, but I hooked it back up and put a couple of nuts on there as jam nuts to make sure it wouldn't happen again. We were about as ready as we were going to be, but there was another modification we needed to do before we left. I've driven my car at Bonneville 2 previous years. The first year was without a body and it was sketchy. It was wet, which didn't help, but the car was unstable at speed. The faster I went, the sketchier it got. This was mostly due to aerodynamics. You want your center of pressure to be behind your center of mass. Basically, you want a dart with all of the weight up front and all the aerodynamics happening out back. And I had basically the opposite of this. The next time, we returned with a full body and a tail fin, making sure to keep that center of pressure some distance behind the center of mass. But with the upgraded powertrain, I've added about 200 pounds of hoses and aluminum and turbocharger pretty far back in the car. This has moved my center of mass back to almost exactly where the center of pressure is, creating an unstable condition. The solution to this is to add weight to the nose of the car. I need 55 pounds of weight at the very front of the car, so I bought 55 pounds of blue keychains, also some stickers. We packed the nose full of as many keychains as we could cram in there and then started adding more around the side of the car, under the floor, and in the footwell. The nose of the car is always awkward to put on, but now it needs 3 people because it's kind of heavy. We did a few more upgrades. I made new class stickers for the car, carefully picking out my B-holes. We changed the gearing, lathing down a sprocket to fit, packed everything up, and drove through 10 hours of absolutely nothing. There is a lot of nothing in the western United States. We did have a couple of on-the-way problems. We almost lost a trailer fender and a license plate. This trailer is looking pretty rough for only being a couple of years old. We arrived to a brutally hot, dry lake bed. What had a couple of weeks before been a mild concern about rain had turned to triple-digit temperatures, and a UV index hot enough to sap all of the stiffness out of fiberglass. We went through tech inspection without issue, and we picked up a copy of the new calendar, and guess who's on the cover? Nice. The next morning, we hit up the driver's meeting, then got in line and got ready to... We went through tech inspection without issue, and we picked up a copy of the new calendar. And guess who's on the cover? Nice. The next morning we hit up the driver's meeting, then got in line and got ready to go. The first run was going to be a shakedown run, nice and easy, up through the gears, just to make sure everything is working right. The salts can be pretty hard sometimes, not quite like concrete, but more so than you'd think. But other times it can be slippery, and this was a slippery year. The water table was high, and as the sun heated up the surface, it counterintuitively became more slippery. I had never broken traction on the salt before, but this year, with the more slippery surface and nearly twice the horsepower, I was sliding all over the place. I could not get the rear tires to stick. I forgot to turn on the traction control for the first run, but that was fine because we found out later that I had the wheel speed settings wrong. So I was just kind of sliding around and short shifting all the way to 6th gear. The canopy started to peel away from the rest of the body. I'd had this problem in previous years where the sides would pull away, and I tried to fix it with some printed fingers that held the sides in, but I didn't have any reinforcement at the top, so it just kept deforming the canopy until one side popped out of its fingers. I didn't actually notice this because it was out of my vision and I was focusing on trying to keep the car straight, but then near the 4-mile mark, the canopy let go entirely and the whole thing popped up a couple of inches. It was immediately stable, so I just kept in the throttle all the way to the end of the course. This is kind of wild to think about. The canopy has a bunch of force pushing it down from the high pressure buildup on the windscreen. But as the air accelerates over the curved part, it creates a very low pressure area, enough to pop the canopy latch past its striker. This is, by my best guess, at least 100 pounds of force. But then once it's just a couple of inches up, it's in total equilibrium. I could feel the car stop accelerating and slow down a bit when the canopy popped open, so there was more speed in it. I pulled the chute, slowed down, and got my speed. 305 miles per hour on my shakedown run. The record is 324, and it was looking like we might be able to do it, as long as we could figure out the canopy situation, and also the floor. Apparently the floor came loose near the front, peeling away from the aluminum mounts, and some of our keychains got sucked out. We dropped the floor to find that one of the bags had ripped open and we had scattered a handful of keychains across 2 miles of the course. Pretty embarrassing, and apologies to the organizers for not securing these better. We removed all of the ones that weren't absolutely secured and added some reinforcing rivets in the floor. We handed out some of the more mangled ones to some viewers who stopped by the pits to say hi. We also found out, looking at the data, that our gearing was not what I expected it to be. I was expecting a top speed with those sprockets at around 340, but it actually topped out at about 312. I have a spreadsheet for the gearing, and I had updated the tire diameter previously based on last year's run, but I didn't update all the cells, so rookie Excel mistake. And I had to cut off one corner of my engineering license. We swapped in the taller gearing, in fact the tallest gearing we had, which would give us a maximum speed of 375. We didn't expect that we could hit that, but since I was breaking the tires loose all the way through 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and most of 4th gear, we figured having taller gearing wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. We also tried to figure out how to fix the canopy situation. There are a lot of good fixes for this, but most of them require time and a workshop and materials that we just didn't have. This is one of the toughest parts about land speed racing. There are a lot of things you just can't test without going fast. You can't take it to a test and tune at a local track. There are only a few races a year, so you have to do your best, show up, hope that everything works, which it won't, and then be ready to fix all of the things that you didn't know. We figured the side peeling apart was part of the problem, so we stretched some cable across the top and bottom to keep it in shape. To keep the cables in, we tried to drill through some bolts and then use a jam nut, but the drill bits were not up to the task. So I used a cutoff wheel to carefully cut slots in the bolts. It was a little unsettling to have the cables right in front of my face, but they didn't block my view and my helmet wouldn't move that far forward anyway, so it seemed fine. Maybe not the best solution, but good enough? I guess we'll find out. With all that done, we put the car back on the trailer and headed back to the hotel to try again another day. We got in line early on day 2 as the record return runs were finishing up. There were people in front of us, but most of them were not ready when the time came, so we were told to get to the front, where I quickly got ready and in the car. I sat in the car and went over the course in my head. Go straight, then continue straight, then another straight, and finally straight. Dave pushed me up to about 35 miles per hour and I took off, or I tried to, but it wasn't working. The car just didn't have any power. Then Kirk reminded me that I should probably turn off the traction control.
Try to turn off the ham switch?
Which I did, and then the car took off. And immediately started spinning the wheels again. I short shifted all the way up to 5th gear. The car seemed to be stuck at about 8,000 RPM in 5th, not able to go faster than that. I messed with my boost control knob to see if I could get any more out of it, but it didn't work. And then it started slowing down a little. I pulled the chutes and stopped the car, not sure what was going on. I got out and noticed an abnormal amount of smoke coming from the engine cover. I started to take off the engine cover and it got worse. My car was on fire. I got enough of the engine cover off to let one of the course workers hit it with a fire extinguisher. I could see the fire right next to the fuel lines, but fortunately we got it out before the fuel caught. The firefighters stopped by to make sure it was out, spraying it down with the engine cover on and then off. Before I even looked at the damage, I knew that would be the end of our week. The fire burned through several hoses, including the oil return line for the dry sump. Pretty much all the fuel injector wires were bare copper, and several of the stickers were toast. We took the car back to the pits to try to root cause the event. It seemed like the core of the fire was the oil vent filter. It likely had too much oil residue on it. Although the start of the fire seemed to come from the front of the engine, where one of the EGT sensors came loose and popped out. Yes, it was the same one that came loose on the dyno. Apparently, torquing it down did not fix it, and we should have come up with a better solution. This meant that there was a jet of 1700-degree exhaust gas shooting out of the port, melting a lot of wires and hoses, and starting a fire that made its way to the back of the engine bay to the oil vent filter. Lots of work would need to be done, rewiring a lot of components, replacing some, new hoses, fiberglass repair, and a small patch of new stickers on the engine cover. Probably the oil catch can vent will need to be routed outside of the car, and the EGT sensors will need to be safety wired in place somehow. We packed up and left, but not before one of the 300-mile-per-hour guys tried to rub off some blue hat luck. I did have one last genius idea on the way home. There's always a load of salt on the tow vehicle, and I have to thoroughly clean it off, otherwise it will ruin said tow vehicle. And I will have to drive it off a cliff, like I did with my last tow vehicle, which I don't really want to do again. Well, I remembered there is a river crossing at the end of Mojave Road, and it's only about 15 minutes off the highway on our way back. That would wash off all of the salt from the van for sure. So we took a small detour and then dropped off the trailer while we went to the river crossing, only to find it completely dry. 100% dry. Not a drop. No worries, there was a second water crossing just up the road, and it was also dry, except for one sad puddle. I drove through the puddle, which turned out to be a mistake because not only did it not wash off any salt, it smelled really bad, and just made the van smell really bad. So I will have to clean off the salt the hard way. I didn't get to say this at the time, but thank you to Dennis for being quick with the fire extinguisher and helping to limit the damage. And also thank you to Caden, Jim, Lee, and the other volunteers, as well as Heather and Bill for coming by to help out and to make sure that I was okay. It seems weird to say this, but having now had a fire on the salt, I actually feel more safe knowing how well prepared the team out here is. You can tell they've been doing this for 78 years. I've said it before, but it's amazing how smoothly everything seems to run, even when things don't go to plan. And it is appreciated. All things considered, this wasn't too bad as far as fires go. If it had burned through the fuel lines, it would have been so much worse. And while I was a little bummed out, I wasn't on fire, which is good because I really don't want to be on fire. It was a disappointing way to end a short week, but it wasn't all bad. We saw lots of cool cars, some of them broke records. I got to go over 300 miles per hour, and I got my unlimited license, so now I can officially go as fast as I want to, or at least as fast as I can. We will repair the damage, we will rewire and replumb the car, and we will deal with the only thing more corrosive than salt, fire extinguishing agent. And if you'd like to buy a keychain, too bad, because I still need those. They're my ballast to get the center of mass further forward, and there is another event in September, World Finals. We will make sure the keychains are fully secure this time. Sign up for the Patreon to help support the repairs and to be first in line for the blue keychains when those become available. We will be back in a few weeks with a faster and hopefully less flammable car. Thanks for watching.
Вечерочек добрый. Задумались ли вы, насколько большое сообщество русскоязычных ютуберов?
В Zenless Zone Zero вышел новый игровой режим в жанре Extraction. В энигме лабиринта надо исследовать каверну в поисках ресурсов, а затем вовремя сбегать, при этом не сдохнув. В этом видео мы не будем рассказывать про базовые механики типа улучшения базы, метод экипировки, способности операции и прочее. Все эти вещи вы должны знать из игрового обучения. В этом гайде мы поговорим о стратегии прохождения, как готовиться к вылазке, как выбирать маршруты, как вынести как можно больше лута на максимальном уровне сложности. Начнем, пожалуй, с самого скучного, но наиболее важного – денежки. Очень важно понимать, как работает экономика лабиринта. Когда вы готовитесь к вылазке, вам наверняка хочется взять всю самую лучшую экипировку. Однако зачастую это будет ошибкой. Дело в том, что экипировка очень дорогая. Тактические призмы 50 уровня стоят по крайней мере 200 тысяч шестерлингов, а если вам придется докупать ингредиенты из магазина, то может выйти аж 400 тысяч. Если оборудовать всех 3 персонажей, плюс клинок аберрации и модуль эфиростойкости, то выйдет за 1 миллион или даже больше. И все бы ничего, но у всей экипировки есть прочность. Ее хватит всего лишь на несколько вылазок. Очевидно, что так или иначе все эти инвестиции окажутся выгодными. Однако выгода бывает разной. Когда на экране результатов появляется цифра в 2 миллиона, это, конечно, очень здорово и круто. Но и забеги на 1 миллион могут оказаться не менее выгодными. Дело в том, что эта цифра показывает только стоимость предметов с их продажи. Их реальная стоимость намного выше, ведь они нужны для прокачки базы и крафта предметов. Вы, конечно, можете купить их в магазине, но этот магазин зовется дорого-богато не просто так. Все предметы там стоят почти в 2,5 раза дороже, а ядра с боссов стоят аж в 8 раз больше. Иначе говоря, когда вы делаете забег на 1 миллион, в реальности он экономит вам почти 2 миллиона. Просто за счет того, что вам не придется покупать предметы у этого бамбука рынки. Если подытожить, то можно выделить
Not the best idea I've ever had.
когда вы хотите набрать максимальный счет и получить медальку. В этих забегах ваша главная задача охотиться на боссов. Помимо прочих ценностей, с них падают ядра, это самый дорогой предмет в магазине. Второй тип вылазок – бюджетный. Вы идете голышом, чтобы не тратить прочность экипировки. Ваша задача – это избегать сражений и сосредоточиться на добыче базовых ресурсов. Теперь, когда мы определились с общей стратегией, давайте обсудим уже сами забеги. Начнем с бюджетных вылазок. Когда мы говорили идти голышом, мы имели в виду буквально. Игра выдаст предупреждение, что будет очень трудно, но она врет. В начале вылазки вам дадут бесплатное снаряжение, и мы вас уверяем, его более чем достаточно. С боссами мы драться не собираемся, но даже если придется, на них потребуется 1, максимум 2 минуты. Вполне разумное время. Итак, возвращаясь к экипировке. Эти 4 слота можно оставить пустыми, но при желании можно взять бесхозные предметы, если вы подбирали их в прошлых забегах. Но помните, что если они полностью сломаны, то их цена падает в 2 раза. Лучше продавать их перед поломкой. Из расходников надо обязательно взять эфирный фантом муравья. Он дает скрытность, чем мы будем обязательно пользоваться. Также можно взять золотых бамбу и оголтелых силачей, но они уже менее приоритетны. Из персонажей следует взять кого-то вроде Исюань с высокой выживаемостью и мобильностью. Также обязательно взять персонажа устрашения, можно даже 2. Чуть позже вы поймете зачем. Рекомендуем сохранить этот состав в качестве шаблона, чтобы не приходилось ставить все это вручную. После входа в каверну сначала определитесь, какие локации будете фармить. В каждой из них свои предметы. Например, на 6-й улице емкости, на стройплощадке компоненты, а в люмине кабели. Как правило, лучше фармить только 1 или 2 локации за раз. Базовые ресурсы могут складываться до 20 штук, поэтому они занимают мало места в рюкзаке. Если же пытаться бегать туда-сюда и подбирать все подряд, то ваш рюкзак быстро переполнится.
Okay, so I'm fairly certain that I want to see it. That is something that I'm certain about. And then either NBC or not NBC.
Ready for an adventure in the Hollow? Let's go right now!
Э.
Black or white? Which side do you...
This weather's perfect for a little exploring.
I see you.
Впрочем, обращайте внимание на ящики оснащения.
This
Иногда там
weather's
могут выпадать
perfect for a
черты.
little
Итак,
exploring.
определившись с локацией, сначала посмотрите на потенциальные точки выхода. Большинство из них закрывается через 20 минут, то есть когда до конца вылазки остается 5 минут. В идеале стоит заранее прийти сюда и обеспечить себе безопасный отход. Если выход охраняет босс, то лучше сразу убить его, потому что делать это в конце забега будет затруднительно, когда весь отряд полубосса и у вас мало времени. Но если вы рисковый, то можете проскочить мимо, либо использовать другие трюки, о которых мы расскажем чуть позже. Что касается платных выходов, то... ну их нафиг, мы жадные. Но полезно запомнить, где они находятся. В районе Януса он находится на станции метро. Полезно запомнить все входы и выходы, между ними можно свободно перемещаться. Метро тут бесплатное, спасибо мэру Нью-Эриду. В загородной иллюзии платный выход находится на пляже. К слову про точки телепортации, здесь они устроены вот так. И, кстати, сразу предупредим про вот этот проход между пляжем и шоссе. Мало того, что тут платный проход, так еще и на лифте вас приветствует Билли, с которым придется драться. Причем сбежать не получится, лифт заблокирован. В общем, обходите это место стороной. Уж лучше пешочком в обход. Если вы все-таки хотите пользоваться платными проходами, то ищите события. Они дают порядка 15 тысяч шестерлингов. И последнее про зоны какофонии, которые появляются через 10 минут. Они более опасные, но и лута в них больше. Вы будете постоянно накапливать заражение Если вы планируете сюда ходить, то рекомендуем взять дешевые обеззараживающие препараты. Они восстанавливают максимальное КП из-за заражения. Итак, перейдем непосредственно к процессу сражения, точнее к их отсутствию. В бюджетных забегах вы хотите обчищать контейнеры, обходя охрану. Иногда боссы стоят спиной к сундукам, так что вы можете спокойно подойти и вскрыть их. Если же враг стоит к ним лицом, то вы можете попробовать его развернуть. Привлеките внимание босса и уведите его в сторону. Когда он будет возвращаться обратно, то станет лицом так, как пришел. Таким образом, можно менять направление шоссе и спокойно выпать сундуки. В некоторых ситуациях так сделать не получится, и тогда нам понадобится эфирный фантом муравья. Подойдите к сундуку, затем используйте скрытность. Его длительности хватит, чтобы вскрыть сундук и забрать все или почти все предметы. Второй вариант — это воспользоваться золотым бандом. Он повышает скорость вскрытия замков и подбора предметов. Сначала отвлеките охрану и уведите ее подальше, затем подбегайте за банду и быстро крадите все вещи. Это более рискованно, но тоже вариант. И, наконец, последний способ. Мы можем сразиться с боссом, но убивать его не обязательно. Достаточно просто оглушить его. Длительности оглушения как раз хватит, чтобы полностью обчистить один сундук. Но имейте в виду, что этот способ работает не со всеми агентами. Например, турели нормы постоянно атакуют врага, и это прерывает вскрытие сундуков. Это прям печальненько, надеюсь, это поменяют. Если по каким-то причинам вы не можете использовать эти методы, то можете просто сразиться с боссом. Это займет какое-то время, но это вполне возможно. Прежде всего, вступайте в бой через навык аберрации, мощный рубящий удар. Урон со спины будет выше. Также сосредоточьтесь на помощи в защите. Когда происходит фиолетовая вспышка, то удар заблокирует Пироис. В сражениях против боссов, если сделать так 3 раза, то Пироис сможет выполнить мощный рубящий удар, который наносит тонну урона. И, наконец, пользуйтесь эфирными фантомами. Оголтелый силач наносит 10% от максимального здоровья, но есть и более сильные фантомы. Далее стоит поговорить про ищейку. В первый раз она появляется...
Faith in my old friends. Long time no see. Uncle Shepard is back with more good news today.
Найдите свободное...
Ethan, my old friends. Long time no see. Uncle Shepard is back with more good news today.
What? Finally decided to get a membership card with us?
No. I'm a middleman, so I'm here because I've got a commission for you, obviously. Since you two are proxies, how would you like some intel on your great predecessor?
You mean Joyous? The Void Hunter pioneer of proxies?
That's right. As everyone knows, the Divine Maze, Papago Hollow, has insane ether properties. Observing it is hard enough, let alone making a carrot. And legend has it, Joyous made it through Papago Hollow alone and came back with something special. An artifact that can navigate that bizarre labyrinth like it's nothing.
You mean Joyce's labyrinth carrot?
The famous Faithin really does know everything. Now that's why I like working with pros.
Could someone explain to the other, much less famous Faithin what this labyrinth carrot is?
Retrieving HIA internal files. Labyrinth carrot. A special device once carried by Joyous. It can calculate routes through Papago Hollow without Rosetta data.
Wait, didn't the HIA announce it disappeared along with Joyous?
You actually trust what the HIA said? You would be better off trusting me. According to my intel, the labyrinth carrot is just lying somewhere in Papago Hollow. All you have to do is bring it back. The client also gave us its approximate location and offered a very special reward. Though for Denny's, they're only covering basic travel expenses.
Eos, see him out.
Hold on, wait. There is a but, a very important but. The but is, once you find the labyrinth carrot, you can keep it as your reward. My client only needs a copy of the analysis data.
They're offering us such a precious device from Joyous? Sounds like a trap.
That's a reasonable suspicion. Hans sent out a warning bulletin stating that dangerous sound wave like ether was detected inside Papago Hollow. Without special protective equipment, even Bangbu can be affected.
Relax! When have I ever done you dirty? I managed to get you intel on your great predecessor's carrot, so you can bet I came prepared with protective gear, too. The latest product from Porcelumix. Exclusive gear for the HIA in hand. The Ether Silencer. Active noise cancellation, a high-purity porcelain inner layer, and 200 hours of battery life. Rock-solid protection.
Sounds impressive, but why does it look used? There's even an investigator's name engraved on it. S. Hurd? And the Bangbu-sized one is marked Sheepy.
Well, business is tough these days, and good intel is even tougher to come by. A man's gotta do everything himself. Considering how hard I worked to get all this gear, surely you'll take the commission, right?
Fine. Since it has to do with Joyous, we'll take the commission. Eos, check your battery. We're heading out.
Oh, come on, little Eos. Here, have some Denny's as an advance on the commission, okay? Then it's a deal, faith in old friends. When you hand over the data, please return the equipment too. The HIA is pretty strict with its equipment inventory.
Janus? Janus Quarter?
My apologies, Master. Second Assistant appears to have failed to make proper preparations. How embarrassing. According to investigation data released by Hand, the special ether sound waves inside Papago Hollow can extract entrance mental data and use it to generate illusions.
Thanks for the explanation, First Assistant. Belle, I've marked Shepard's coordinates on the map. The labyrinth carrot should be somewhere ahead. Let's search all possible areas.
All right, let's move. Keep an eye out for anything that looks like a chip along the way. If Shepard's intel is right, it should look similar to a regular carrot. Wait, up ahead. Are those Hollow Raiders?
Hey, boss, what phase are we in now? Searching, combat, or extraction?
Oh, is that not obvious? The combat phase! Guess what? Out of my way!
Master, I suggest checking anything left behind by the Hollow Raiders. The labyrinth carrot may be hidden among their belongings.
There should be a better place for us.
No labyrinth carrot detected. I suggest searching the container ahead.
Let's see if there's anything good inside, Eos.
Hesitation is a fool's game.
This is a sword hilt? It doesn't look anything like a labyrinth carrot.
Analysis. This is a special porcelain product capable of controlling ether. I suggest equipping it as a precaution.
After equipping the sword hilt, I can feel this strange power surging through me.
There's enemies up ahead. Maybe I can try this power out.
Why is voice telling me that?
What incredible power! It started attacking before I could even react.
Warning. Unusual enemy ether frequency detected. Please exercise caution.
Don't worry, Fairy. I'll be careful.
Meet your end!
All clear. Let's head to the area Fairy marked. Is this 6th Street? Oh no. My memories are being extracted.
Negative. Janus Quarter mascot, Officer Mew Mew, is absent.
There's
Speculation. This illusion was likely extracted from the memories of an unknown visitor. discovered Papago's exclusive random play. There may be hidden labyrinth carrots. Suggestion: check the first and second floor areas. Labyrinth carrot area calibrated. You may continue searching.
The bedroom door's locked. Maybe I should try that access card.
Based on the analysis, this thing periodically sends out ether energy waves to scan its surroundings, like a sonar. No wonder it can navigate without relying on Rosetta data. It may only be a fragment of the labyrinth carrot, but it can already scan for nearby spatial fissures with ease. Wait, this fissure's waveform is so stable, it almost feels artificial.
That's joyous for you. Absolutely insane.
I'm sorry, but unfortunately I can't allow you to take that.
Allow me to handle this, Ray. I didn't expect to meet our special guide here again, Miss Bell. It seems we're both after the same thing, the labyrinth carrot.
Not good. Its hand on the White Star Institute.
Please, do not worry. We have no intention of taking it by force. I simply hope you understand that this is valuable equipment left behind by Mr. Joyous, and that the HSO is in the best position to realize its full potential. As the head of intelligence for Hollow Special Operations Section 2, as well as the deputy commander of this search operation, I would like to hire you once again as our special guide.
Sorry. I can't really accept your offer.
I understand you have concerns. However, by HSO's usual standards, the commission fee would be quite generous. Together with the remaining payment from your previous commission, a rough estimate would come to 600,000 dennies.
It's not about the Denny's. It's just that I've already accepted someone else's commission. It doesn't feel right if I just handed it to you.
We'll also ensure you receive a fair share from any future research profits. Considering that lower-tier research projects on similar topics have already generated hundreds of millions in dennies, the returns would be substantial.
Sorry, I still have to talk it over with my client before deciding.
Everyone, this area is unstable. I suggest we leave the Hollow and continue this discussion outside. I believe Miss Yanagi will have a good solution. Oh, wait, what?
One signal indicates some activity, two, significant activity. 3 is an intense reading, and 4... Is this?
This is bad. Prepare to evacuate, everyone. Something big is coming, and I don't think we can handle it.
Run!
I can check out what's on the first floor.
Isn't this the part where a sword-wielding void hunter swoops in to save us?
With the wishful thinking, focus on finding a spatial fissure so we can lose it.
Labyrinth Carrot found a fissure straight ahead. Don't stop.
Warning, corruption levels have reached their limit. Health will continue to decrease.
Everyone, watch out!
It just vanished? Was that an ethereal capable of manipulating spatial fissures?
Eos? Eos! I gotta go back. I have to save him.
Please, wait, Miss Bell. Our current priority is to evacuate and request backup. Rescuing Eos and recovering the Labyrinth Carrot will require considerable technical support.
Right. And we can commandeer equipment from the Institute or Hand to locate Eos later.
Sorry. Let me just... You're right. Let's get out of here first. I'll need Wise and the others' help too to find Eos.
Lifeform detected entering research station. Authentication failed. Activating level 1 alert.
Hold on. I am Nansen, Hollow Special Operations Section 2 Head of Intelligence. Here are my credentials. These are my colleagues, Ray and Bell.
Reauthenticating. Credentials confirmed. Alert status deactivated. Apologies, Mr. Nansen. It seems its long hibernation is negatively affecting our system's judgment. Welcome to Omond Research Station. This is the core site of Operation Bagel. I am D. Ada, the station's master control construct.
Come again? I don't recall any organization running an operation by that name. Nor have I heard of this Omond Research Station.
Research designation, Operation Bagel. Research institution, Helios Academy. Database offline. Unable to verify naming rationale. Possibility 1, the initiator may have enjoyed bagels. Possibility 2, the research station's porcelloi hub suppresses and blocks ether, creating a cavity zone. Viewed from above, it forms a concentric circle with the hollow, resembling a bagel.
Helios Academy. Then it's most likely a very old project. No wonder the name doesn't ring a bell.
So, we're currently at the center of Papago Hollow, and that device in the middle can suppress ether, creating an isolated cavity inside the hollow?
Correct. The porcelloi hub uses the Labyrinth Carrot and the properties of porcelain alloy to suppress and block the ether sound waves in Papago Hollow. It can also connect to anchors deployed throughout Papago Hollow to monitor conditions inside the hollow.
If this hub can be used to monitor the Hollow, could it help us track down my Bangbu? He was attacked by an ethereal and pulled into a special fissure when we came into the Hollow.
My apologies. Your request cannot be executed. The hub remains in standby mode and its monitoring functions remain inactive. The special computational Bangbu capable of taking the hub out of standby, brilliant,
has been dormant for too long and can no longer boot up normally. If required, I can retrieve Brilliant from the stasis chamber and attempt repairs.
I see. Is there any way for us to contact the outside?
My apologies. Remote connection functionality has also failed to activate. However, a link has been established with an anchor near the hollow's edge. You can leave the hollow through the corresponding small anchored fissure.
Then let's leave and get reinforcements first. We can return and continue the search afterward.
Sorry. I want to check on Brilliant first and try to restore the hub's monitoring function. Every extra second Eos is out there puts him in greater danger. Mr. Nansen, once you're out there, please help me contact my brother Wise and let him know the situation.
I would like to stay and help repair Brilliant too. Besides, this research station has some impressive tech. I'd like to do a bit of investigating.
Very well then. I'll be back as soon as possible. You two, stay safe.
Special Computational Unit Brilliant retrieved.
Brilliant is just ahead. Let's go check on him.
Hello, everyone. Nansen briefed me on the situation inside the Hollow. I've also brought Bangbu 06 from the proxy shop to assist.
Belle, can you hear me? I'm patching through via 06. Are you okay? You're not hurt, are you?
The connection's good, Wise. I'm fine, so don't worry. But Eos is still missing. Any clues on your end?
Before I lost contact with Eos, the last thing I saw was that Ethereal taking him to an area that looked like an aquarium. Fairy's still helping me lock down the location, but without observation data piles, I'm still working it out.
An aquarium-like area? Given the number of illusory spaces inside Papago Hollow, I doubt we can rely on conventional methods in our search.
With Han's current technology, stable monitoring of Papago Hollow remains difficult. I suggest we first retrieve the storage units Brilliant needs and attempt to restore the hub's monitoring function.
But this Bangbu's interface is extremely outdated. Getting those storage units would likely take 4 to 5 days. If what D-Ada said about the lost equipment in Papago is true, a direct search may actually be more efficient.
I agree with Ray. Everyone, please prepare for combat. It's time to clear the dust out of here.
looks different from when we first came in. It used to look like Janus Quarter, but now it's more like an outer ring industrial plant.
Sorry for jumping into your channel. According to Hand's observation records from the past year, Papago Hollow appears to undergo periodic changes. That may be why your surroundings have shifted.
How the fuck are you able to jump into our channel?
But what's more important are the unique ether sound waves in Papago Hollow. We've confirmed that they're responsible for the hallucinations and have given them the name cacophony.
Cacophony? Like an awful sound?
Yes. You can think of the cacophony as a form of high-frequency ether noise. Similar to miasma, the special liquid ether found in Lemnian Hollow, cacophony contains unique energy capable of influencing the mind. I've marked the storage unit location provided by Dieta on your map. In short, proceed with caution, make full use of every resource at your disposal, and avoid exposure to cacophony corruption.
Dieta marked the approximate location of the special storage unit.
Come on, Wise. We're bringing Eos home.
Be careful. I don't want to ruin the outfit.
To the skies! I'll watch over you. Soar with the wind. Let me handle this.
Any last words?
My turn!
Leave it to me. Breathe.
Get still.
Knock loose!
last words.
Pretty cool, huh? Channel. Breathe. Obliterate form and spirit. Pretty, right?
My muscles are on fire!
Soar with the wind. I'll watch over you. I'm in a good mood today, so let's make this quick. I'm in a good mood today, so let's make this.
Ether suppression range expanded. Expansion module unlocked. Access test complete. Depot hub online.
There is still two things to do. And I'm crashing hard.
Arknights.
Time for the mission complete. Now, shall we discuss payment?
All right, take it over.
What a happy. Pretty lively here.
I'll deliver this one myself. Come on, let's...
I just had to choose the hard way.
Sorry. Are you okay? Ow! Sorry. Ow! Sorry.
Appearance-wise, nothing particular.
Hmm?
us out on this hunt.
A brilliant strategy.
We're going head-to-head. Execute plan A.
Time to give them a proper lesson.
Wow! Perfect execution!
A textbook maneuver.
Clean and sharp. Impressive.
Oof. Tomorrow's gonna be a day.
A rain of blue, a lance of sun. I shall sweep the rest. Don't blink! The star is rising!
Perfect is this wind.
Perfect is this wind. I'm with you. Why do I have to do this?
Alright, that's going to be it for stream. Good luck, fun, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.